It's time that we talk about kids online, specifically kids with big followings online. Some of these are examples of basically kidfluencers that are big business, bringing in tons of money and endorsement deals and ad revenue and all that. But that does not mean that they're the ones benefiting from it necessarily. And the Illinois Senate is trying to do something about it. They just passed a bill to protect minors under 16 from exploitation by influencers on social media. The House is going to be considering it this week. Then it would go to Pritzker, the governor, to potentially sign. So basically, it's going to require influencers to pay children featured in the content a percentage of their earnings. The bill applies to any online platform, including public-facing websites, web, digital, or mobile applications, social or advertising networks, amongst others. The platform falls under the bill if the content generates a minimum of 10 cents per view, and if the child is featured in at least 30% of the influencer's video content within 30 days. I don't know about that 10 cents per view. That seems like a CPM beyond what most platforms would have, but that's what they're doing. The basic idea is that a lot of these kids don't really have the capacity to consent in an informed way to being featured in blogs and posts and photos and videos constantly. And some of them are doing this every single day. There are massive YouTube channels of families where the kid is the star and the adults just happen to be there, and they're pulling in huge amounts of money that isn't necessarily being set aside even in part for the kids, even though they are contributing the labor to this. So I don't know, it's a complicated topic. I haven't heard much talk about it, Emma, but what do you think about it?
I mean, I'm very wary of the impulse and like this financial incentive to market yourself as like a product in and of itself. I think we're in kind of a weird and dangerous period of late stage capitalism where everybody is a product and you have to market yourself as such. And unfortunately, children are learning that from a really young age. I think that it then ties your self-worth into follower counts. It ties it into how much money you can rake in as a kidfluencer. And also the fact that they can't consent if they are a part of, say, their parents' ambitions on this front. It's concerning and it can lead to anxiety about overexposure and potential mental health ramifications that we don't even know about to this point. We see what happens with exposure for child actors. This is somewhat similar. So I'm happy that protections are being put in place, but I think we need to explore potentially legal barriers or some sort of national legislation that protects children from exploitation more broadly, because this is clearly an untapped market for a lot of people that want to monetize every part of yourself. I mean, we deal with that in media to a certain extent, right, John? So it's not it's a troubling development, is what I'll say.
Yeah, and as you pointed out, it's not entirely new. There were parents that wanted their kids to be actors or get into commercials or become a model or whatever. It's just way easier for lots of people to try to do that. And it's not to say that the kids are all being abused or even don't like it. There are probably a lot of these kids that love doing the photos and love doing the videos and all of that. It just seems like if the money is being brought in, it should benefit them. I don't know. By the way, the reason I want to talk about this is I don't know what my position exactly is on this, but I definitely think it's a huge thing. Some of the biggest YouTube channels in the world are little kids, like interacting with toys and stuff like that. Anyway,
they can't
basically
consent.
out of time, but last point to you.
They can't consent. That's the one thing I'll say. I mean, if children can't consent in this way, and I think that should be at least taken into account.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.